everyone. So my name is Shashi Ranjanja. Basically, I am cybersecurity analyst at Data Space Securities, and today's our topic is like social engineering and phishing attacks. So if you can see my screen, this person, if you know, this is Kevin Metnick, and it is a very famous social engineer hacker, basically. So now he is a very famous cybersecurity researcher in his own field, and he's doing a lot of like you can go through its book of social engineering, and you will find a lot of new ways to do social engineering. But before going into the topic, we will first try to understand what is social engineering. And let's see some of the statistics that how social engineering basically manipulates everything. Okay, let me share my screen as well. Okay, so okay, so let's start with first understanding what is social engineering. Okay, so social engineering in cybersecurity is actually a psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. Candidates for the social engineering attack can range from corporate executive to elementary school student. Even most of the seasoned IT professional can be victimized by this type of attacks. Okay, so as we can see, mostly like 98% of cyber attacks are relying upon the social engineering. So scams that happens in India or all over the world or by any mean, like you do not every time need a computer or have to be a IT professional or need to know the ways of hacking in order to fish somebody or in order to perform social engineering activities. Okay, why I am saying this? Because as you can see, 98% of cyber attacks rely upon social engineering, means psychological manipulation of people, means by manipulating their behavior, by manipulating their thinking. Uh, Basically, hackers try to make take out their work. Whatever hackers wants to do with the target, they can make people to do it by manipulating psychologically to their victims. So 43% of IT professionals said they had been targeted by social engineering schemes in last year. So if you are targeting any company and like if you are not able to find any vulnerability in the company, then basically you find a vulnerable person, you find a weak link, and people and are the very weak link in these industries. So we try to target them by knowing their likings and their recent activities, and then try to fish them using their recent activities. Then new employees are the most susceptible socially. So new employees are the most susceptible to social engineered attacks, with 60% of the IT professional citing recent hires as been at the high risk. Because new employees do not know the policies, maybe they have getting a good training upon that, but still it is possible that they are not performing it well. Okay, so because of that, the risk of fished by social engineers are a lot. Okay, so it is possible that new employees can get fished into these scenarios, and because of that the businesses can get a high loss. So 21% of current and former employees use social engineering to gain financial advantage for revenge out of the curiosity or fun. So many people try this for the fun as well. So these are some statistics. Now we will move forward to see some more stats, like the number of incident by type. So identity theft, basically where your identity like name, phone number, email ID, and all these things can get uh, people generally give it by their own into some kind of phishing websites, so or some kind of phishing forms. and that is how their identity theft is been done. And then any hacker can use that username, email IDs, and other phone numbers and everything in order to register on multiple sites and then get services based on your identity. Then there is account access, where you basically try to gain the username and password of the users by sending malicious and phishing web pages, and try to gain the account credentials and then gain access. We will see how basically credential harvesting things are being done in the WAN network, and we will see that in a very like after this theory thing. Then financial access. So by somehow, if you do CSRF kind of attacks, or if you try to manipulate the like if the website, if the banking website is vulnerable to certain kind of attacks, if it is not properly secured, it is not in a secured environment, it is possible that some of the web application attacks as well you can perform, where the links will be very genuine, the website will be very much interactive, and the victim will just click on the link, and their username or their email ID or passwords, or the amount that they are transferring to somebody, everything get controlled by the attacker. Basically we call it a CSRF attack, but it can only be done in the on the websites which are vulnerable. Okay, so it is possible that you can do financial access, you can change the username password of anybody's account number, or you can make a financial transaction without the knowledge of the victim. Then nuisance and essential data, that is also in 4% and 1% of like breach incidents happens over there. Then malicious outsider. So basically when there is a outsider, okay, who is having a malicious intent, those kind of breaches comes for the 56% mostly. Then accidental loss, basically when you don't know what is that link, and you by accidentally you give your information or downloads any file, so 34% on that. Malicious insider, so hackers sometimes work from inside the organization, and they knowingly click on the links which is been sent by the hacker, and through that they try to compromise the organization, so that is that. Then hacktivists and unknown is for the 1% as well. The number of records breached in the industry is also given, like social media 2.5 billion, government is 27 billion, other industries 8%, retail 4%, and technology 4%. So these are some recent breach. Now we will see actually what makes these hackers to perform this social engineering, and what make these things successful. So what are the traits? Okay, so there are a few traits over here, like as you can see: fear, excitement, curiosity, anger, guilt, sadness. Okay, so we'll start with the fear, heightened emotion. So emotional manipulation gives attacker the upper hand in any interaction. You are more far likely to take irrational or risky actions when in enhanced emotional state. So basically they will try to send you a kind of link which will look like or if you visit any malicious website, and then after visiting the website, when you are getting some kind of pop-up like your system has been infected with some virus, and please install this antivirus in order to scan and remove the virus. So at the time when you are visiting the website, that website may could be the vulnerable one, but actually by that time there is no effect has happened. That pop-up is a malicious pop-up. And when you are downloading any kind of software from by getting into the emotional manipulation, or by in the fear that your device is compromised with any kind of virus, so in order to remove that, when you are downloading that malicious file from the malicious website, the chances are that your system will get infected with the virus at that moment when you are downloading the malicious file. Okay, and through that it could be possible that anybody can take the whole control of your machine, or can it could be a kind of ransomware which will encrypt all the data in your machine. Okay, so that is the thing in the fear, heightened emotion. We will get into one by one the things that are in this. So excitement, curiosity, anger, guilt, sadness. As you can see, if you find in any way that on online or through any kind of spamming or scamming things, people are trying to access or try to use your these kind of traits, then please be aware of this. And like, let's go with the some more tricks, so you will understand more that how these social engineers use this in order to spam or scam users. Okay, so urgency is also there. Trait number two, urgency means time sensitive opportunities or requests are another reliable tool in an attacker's arsenal. You may be motivated to compromise yourself under the guise of the serious problem that needs immediate attention. Alternatively, you may expose to a prize or reward that may appear if you do not act quickly. Either approach overrides your critical thinking ability. So they try to create a kind of urgency that this is a limited time offer, this is like it can go out if you do not purchase it right now, and because of that time sensitive opportunities we try to click on that link, and there we get fished. Then there is trust. Basically, believability is invaluable and essential to the social engineer attack. So they try to make a trust. They try to build a trust between the attacker and the victim. And since the attacker is ultimately lying to you, obviously, so confidence plays an important role over here. So whenever you will see that the party is in a lot of confidence, he is trying to even refund you all the money and do a lot of things. They are trying to manipulate you by showing their own confidence. So when you are seeing this, be aware, because overconfidence and this kind of like things are generally be like done by the social engineers. So they have done enough research on you to craft a narrative that's easy to believe and likely to unlikely to rouse suspicion. So they have done the research on you and they know how actually you will behave, and accordingly they try to show more confidence in their way to fish you. Okay, and so you have to be aware of this. These things generally happens in the phishing kind of attack, which we call voice over phishing. We will get into that as well in the next slides. So greed then, so greed is basically when you get some offers and you try to click on the links because that is an interactive offer according to you. So you try to click on that, and because of that you try to give your credentials, your credit card details, trying to purchase the things, and because of that you lost you will basically unknowingly give your own credentials and credit card details and bank account details to the hackers. Then there is curiosity. Basically, cyber criminals pay attention to events, capturing a lot of news coverage, and then take advantage of human curiosity to trick social engineer victims into acting. For example, after the second Boeing MAX 8 plane crash, cyber criminals sent emails with attachments that claimed to include leaked data about the crash. So, in reality, the attachment installed a version of HWORM rat on the victim's computer. So as you can see, if you are getting any kind of mail that okay, you will be getting the latest videos or you will be getting the unreleased products from this link, so out of the curiosity it is possible that people are going to click on the email attachments and they are trying to download some files which could have a kind of remote access trojan. So a remote access trojan basically compromise the victim's machine completely, and attackers can have a lot of privileges on that machine. They can also go forward, escalate their privileges, scan other devices in the network, and then hack those systems as well. So that is the thing. Then helpfulness. So humans want to trust and help another. So after doing research into a company, cyber criminals target 2 or 3 employees in the company with an email that look like it comes from a targeted individual's manager. The email asks them to send the manager the password for the accounting database. So basically you first try to spoof the email of any organization, and then using that spoofed email you try to fish other person, try to gather credential from other employees. Okay, so because employees see that okay, it is coming from a genuine email which is the spoofed email, and people do not do more basically research onto that. And if you are not doing research onto the sender's profile of that email, you may get fished, because spoofing email is very easy. And then spoofing the email, if you are getting any kind of link from the attacker, it is possible that the people in the form of helpfulness they give all the details. Okay, because it looks genuine but it is not a genuine one. Okay, so you have to figure out what is genuine, what is not genuine. So now we will see the different types of social engineering attacks. So we have seen what traits basically these social engineers have, what kind of properties they are having, what kind of things they use in order to like fish any user. Now we will see the types of social engineer attacks. So these are the types: pretexting, tailgating, scareware, baiting, quid pro quo, water holing, malware, and phishing. So we'll see one by one. So first, pretexting. So the meaning of pretexting is a reason that you give for doing something that is not a real reason. So bahana karna. So the thing is, here is an attacker obtains information through a series of cleverly crafted lies. So because they already know you, they have enough information about you. They could be your neighbors or anyone who got the information about you, okay, from somewhere, and doing all kind of research, they have crafted a series of lies. Okay, so they have crafted a story in which there is a lot of lies within that, and they will try to make it a genuine story so that you believe in that story, and then you give the information that the attacker is needed. So the attacker usually starts by establishing trust with the victim by impersonating co-workers, police, bank, or tax officials, or other person who have right to know authority. Okay, so when you become these things, you have the right to know, so people generally give all the information. So the pretexter asks questions that are ostensibly required to confirm the victim's identity, through which they gather important personal data. So all sorts of pertinent information and records is gathered using this scam, such as social security numbers, personal address, phone numbers, phone records, staff vacation days, bank records, and even security information related to physical plant. So you can gather information based on pre-testing. Basically, you try to make a story, crafted story of lies, and try to convince a victim so that they give all the information to you. That is a simple way. First one is the pretexting. Now there is tailgating. So tailgating basically means, sometimes referred to as piggy banking, in a physical security breach in which an unauthorized person allows an authorized individual to enter a security premise. So tailgating provides a simple social engineering based way around many security mechanism one would think as a secure. Even retina scanners are there. So if these things are there, it is very hard to basically bypass these kind of security features, which requires some kind of physical or some kind of retina scanner or fingerprint scanners things are there in order to get into any premises. So it is very hard to hack those systems. But what a general social engineer can do, they can use the tailgating method in order to do that. As you can see, this girl, this is an authorized person, and she has all its she has the card, and as soon as she entered the premise, she said, this girl who is an hacker, she had holding a baby into her hands, and that is why she is telling her, please hold the door, so that she can also get into or pass out. And because of the helpfulness, she tried to hold the door with her authentication, and this hacker gets into the into the organization. So this is just a very basic example. Tailgatings, in cases like if you have watched Mr. Robot, there also Elliot has tried multiple ways to do tailgating into the evil corp. So if you follow those series, you will see the all the methods and the ways that Elliot has used and their friends has used in order to get into the organization, highly secured organizations. Okay, so there all the hacks that is been shown in the Mr. Robot series, everything, it is a very good series for going and learning about the social engineering attacks. Okay, now there is scareware attacks, where you will generally see how like we have seen this basically scareware is a form of malware when it is used to like frighten you and then taking into an action. So whenever you will visit any malicious website and you get a pop-up, okay, in the form of a scareware that shows that your computer is compromised and you need to install this certain software in order to make your system again safe. So there we use scarewares. Then there is baiting. Baiting abuses the natural curiosity and coax into the exposing yourself to an attacker, typically potential for something free or exclusive in the manipulation used to exploit you. Okay, so again, maybe USB drives left in the public spaces like libraries and parking lots, email attachments including details of a free offer and a fraudulent free software. So these could contain some kind of malicious software. If you just plug it in into the machine, then it is possible that your complete machine can the complete organization, the complete network, or the device in which this USB drives are being plugged in get compromised. So free things never comes for free, so that is the thing we have to keep in mind. Then quid pro quo, this terms means a favor for a favor. So you do something for the victim, and then in regards you ask victim to please just go on to some URL and register over there, or make some registration over there. So you are doing something for the victim, and then in return you are asking for a favor which is not actually a favor. Basically the hacker is trying to hack you, they are trying to impersonate you, they are trying to gather information about you. So that method is basically called quid pro quo. Then the water holing. So water holing is basically this kind of attacks happens on the website which is not very secure website. So basically attackers try to fill the website with all the kinds of zero day exploits, or all the kinds of pop-ups that they can generate, so that any user who visits that malicious website, which is actually a not very secured website, so when they will visit the website, they will get into fall into prey of the attacker, because attacker has already installed and already already injected some of the zero day exploits and some of the malicious scripts into that website. And as soon as any user visited that website, all those scripts and those exploits will get executed on the user's browser, the victim's browser. And if victims follow up those links and do the certain things that the attacker is trying to ask things from the user, if user is doing all these things, then basically you are giving your details not to the website which is vulnerable, to the attacker who has put all those exploits over there. Okay, so that is water holing basically. And then there is malware, which is short for the malicious software, where whenever you are making any software which is having a malicious intention and which can do certain things, like it could be gathering information from the system, it could be gathering hashes from the system, it could be finding login details and web details and other things, browser details. So any victims are tricked into believing that the malware is installed on their computer, and if they pay, the malware will be removed. So ransomwares are also the find of the malware which get installed in the system. The cyber criminals ask for the money in ransom in order to decrypt the data which is over there. So that is the case of the malwares. Okay, so we have seen the kind of social engineering attacks, and among them the phishing one is the very much important one, because phishing means when you send a phishing link in the sea and then somebody catches that link and give their information into it. So there are multiple types of phishing as well, like email phishing. So when you are sending a phishing link through email, then it becomes a phishing, email phishing. Voice over phishing is known as vishing. So when somebody calls you and tells you to do certain things, and when you are doing that thing, so that is vishing. Okay, so voice over phishing. Smishing is SMS. So when you are sending phishing links through SMS, that becomes smishing. Then whaling is basically when you are targeting the chief level of officers and chief level of person into of any organization, basically the whales of the sea. So when you are targeting any whale of any organization, the CEO or anything like that, you do spear phishing onto it. Means you are not doing it with a phishing link, you are doing it as spear phishing, means targeted phishing onto that person. So you have to gather information about the person, and then you can craft a phishing link which will be which that chief level of position that whale could take. Okay, so you have to bait the whale in such a way. Then there is spam phishing, where you will send a lot of spam messages to the victim and just will wait for any of that link to be get clicked by the victim. So you will send n number of basically phishing links to the victim. All of could be of different things, of different links, could be a different link from different websites. And you can add multiple, basically mass mailing attacks are also there, where you can add a lot of email addresses in your spam list, so that phishing links will be sent to multiple persons in a single go, and if somebody clicks on it, you will get the details. Then angler phishing, basically when you are sending some kind of link, and then just waiting for the victim to click on the link and then do the credential harvesting into it, so that comes under this. Then IVR, using some international call, spoofing your call and spoofing the message number and then sending the links, or doing any kind of social engineering and phishing attack onto that, that comes under this. Then using the search engine, so basically when you are making a phishing pages and done the SEO, search engine optimization, and because of that your phishing page is coming at the top, or your URLs look just similar as to the original one, but it is quite different, but it looks similar. So basically you are using the search engine in order to show all users your fake website, and as soon as somebody reaches to your fake website, you get the you get the details. Okay, and then in session, so in session basically means if you are doing any kind of attack, social engineering attack, in order to get the cookie session cookies. So somebody who is already logged in somewhere, maybe on Facebook, maybe on Instagram, or anywhere, basically they are working with a cookie factor. Okay, so all the sessions that are being maintained in that social media platforms, or anywhere, it is being maintained through the cookies, because cookies hold important information related to your login information. So any kind of phishing that gives you the cookie value, you can use CSRF attacks or XSS attacks in order to get the cookie values from the session. So that comes under this. And then URL phishing, so any kind of phishing through the URL, that comes under URL phishing. There are multiple ways to do that. Again, ARP spoofing is another way to do this. And getting a man in the, using the man in the middle attacks, you can change the website that your users within the network is trying to visit by sending malicious websites in instead of the original website. So these are the types of phishing that is being performed. Okay, so that's it. And thank you very much for learning about the phishing. We will just in a very short time will try to see how basically these credential harvesting things happen, and how can we do that. Okay, so let me just close this for once. Kali Linux, basically this operating system is used by penetration testers as well as hackers around the world in order to do all kind of penetration testing, security pen testing, and as well as hacking as well. So this is being used because this Kali Linux is being used because all the tools that you are required in order to do the hacking or penetration testing, most of them are pre-installed into the Kali Linux, and using these tools only we can basically get and take actions on on the victim systems. Okay, so that is why Kali Linux is important, and it for so long, and it is very very easy to do things over this Kali Linux. So okay, so I'll just show you a credential harvesting technique for the Facebook. So if you just check over here in the var www.html directory, I already have a zip file. So let me just cd to this file fg, which I have unzipped already. And you can see there is an index.html file over here. If I cat index.html, this is actually a login page for the facebook.com login or sign up page for facebook.com. Okay, so suppose all I have to do is I have to start my Apache web server over here. So I'll give the command sudo apache service apache to start, and we'll hit enter. It will ask for the password. I'll give the password, and yeah, so now it is up and running. So if it is up and running, that means if I just visit this link or my IP address or the loopback address, localhost, anything, so I have to visit this place and I will be able to check that out. So if I give localhost and remove everything, just localhost, so you can see this is coming the Apache front version, and that directory was in FG. So let me just go to FG, and this is how you will see the Facebook login page at the top first. Okay, so now if you see this kind of like login page, this is an older one. You can make a new one as well. There is no issue. You can directly copy the source code of this and do some slight changes like removing the file name where you want to save the things. So I have already done that. It is in the post.php. If I want to show you, if I just show you with the post.php as well. So this is the file. So after the header, I'm redirecting it to the flipkart.com. So as soon as somebody gives their credential and try to log in, they will redirect to flipkart.com onto a mobile phone, something link is there. And whatever they will be giving the credential, it will saving the things in the usernames.txt file, which is also there, which is over here. As you can see, username.txt file. So let me first show you what is already in there. So in user.txt, so let me cat username.txt. So there is one entry which I am doing for the testing entry over here. If somebody else will give any confidential information into it, it will be sent over here. If I just want to show you, let me try something different. So test@test.com, this is not there. So let me try and log in using this. So as soon as I click on it, it will redirect me to the flipkart.com, this phones thing. Okay, and if I again cat username.txt, you can see the second input, which was for the test@test.com, and this is the password for it. So it is logging all the things. Okay, now you may can ask, like, this attack, this is right now everything is going on in the local area network, LAN network. I am using my local host for that. How can you perform it in the WAN network? So for that, there is an option like in India, if you are in India, so NGRock is already stopped its free services in India. So you can use Cloudflare for that. There is no issue. You can download Cloudflare, and then using dpkg-i, you can install this. I have already installed this dpkg Cloudflared package. So I'll just use Cloudflared command and give the URL dash dash URL and give this URL into it. So using Control C and Control Shift V. So I want to make this URL as my as a WAN network. So I'm getting this link from the Cloudflare, which is saying that things are now configured. So if I'll open this, let me check whether it is working or not. I'll open it in a new browser, in a different browser this time. So as you can see, I'm getting my default page. So if I go to FG, you can see this fake page as well on a domain name, which is trycloudflare.com domain name. And if I am giving anything like, instead of Sashi, let me give something else. Let me give a long text, and in the password 123456789 123456789, something like that, and do a login. So again, it is redirecting me to the flipkart.com, and now I do not need this, so I can close this. and all I have to do is cd to again var www.html cd to fg, where my username.txt file is there. So here is the username.txt. So again, if I cat this, you can see the latest thing, information that has been given, it is now over here. So this is how basically you can make a fake email and phishing things has been done in the real environment in the WAN network. Okay, so do not just click randomly on any page which looks like similar to http https things are there. So just because of that, you cannot think that this is a genuine one. Okay, so these are the different ways of doing phishing. I hope you guys like it. Thank you very much.